The purpose of this video is to explain how to manage tenant records and leasing activity inside Cloud Stacking Plan. So the first thing we'll do is go ahead and log in. And once we're logged in, on the left side of the tree here, you'll see a category called Occupancy Management. The whole idea behind this is that if you have companies that, or either tenants or prospective tenants of your properties that you want to keep track of listing activity, inside here is where you'll put in their tenant records and then keep track of their corresponding listing activity. So the first thing we'll do is manage our tenants. So if we click on tenants, it takes us to our tenant search screen. If I click search, it's going to give me a list of existing tenants that I'm keeping track of. If I want to create a new tenant, I just click new tenant and it takes me into the detail where I can manage all of the detail about that tenant. But for right now, what we'll do is, for the sake of this, is we'll go into an existing tenant. So I'll just click on the tenant's name. And up here, the first thing you see on the left-hand side here is a checkbox, which is called actively servicing this tenant. This is currently a current tenant or a prospective tenant, with which you are dealing with, servicing as far as, getting them into a new property. So if you check this box, then basically they're going to be part of any of the listing activity reports that that we'll show you in the next video. So we are actively servicing this tenant, so this is checked. We've got a company name here. We've got an agent, and we have a secondary agent. Now these two values are driven by a screen which is over here called brokers. If I choose brokers and then hit search, I can actually create a broker and put in the details about the broker as well as any agents that are working for the broker inside here. This is basically just a contact management area for brokers. So back over here on tenants, inside of these two drop downs is driven by what we see in that over here in this broker screen. So we have some other fields that we want to fill out about the tenant. We've got the initial inquiry date. We've got the date needed as far as what they need for the property, the current square footage they have, the needed square footage that they want. You can choose a team member that is currently servicing this tenant. You can choose what their business type is, and you can enter even in some sub-market information. Over here is the occupancy history for this tenant. So if you've actually assigned this tenant to some suite details previously, it's basically going to show everything that this particular tenant has been assigned to throughout the years, and this could be infinite. So as we saw on the previous video about suite detail, if I go into the suite detail here, for instance, you'll see that down here in the tenant area that this company was assigned to this particular suite detail, and that creates the connection between the tenant record and the suite detail, which provides us the ability to run historical analysis of the occupancy history of this particular tenant. So now we'll go back to the tenant record, and down here is basically where we keep track of the listing activity for this particular tenant. So what you would do is you would choose a property, and then you would fill out any all the detail down here about the inquiry. So you could put in the previous occupant of the particular property that they're looking at, and any comments that they may have, what kind of status it is. Is this an inquiry, an RFP? Is this a proposal issued, a lease comments? This is basically all of the potential a listing activity for this particular tenant. So you can put in an inquiry date, suite size, suite effective rate, and so on, and click add entry, and that all shows up down here in your listing. So this is all editable as well. So once you add something down here, you can come down here and you can edit all of these particular fields, and you can also delete an entry by just clicking here and saying OK, and then it'll be gone. So basically, that's how we keep track of listing activity and tenant details. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us.